Wrong sound, but whatever. Go ahead. There we go. What's good, everybody? Football is here. It's Thursday night, live from the Good News Sports Station studio. And I'm joined, as always, to my right, Kenny at Ozo Grande. Barry, what's good, man?
Made it here another week, so it was a good week.
Yeah, man, and we also made our spot for the first time in like a decade. But yeah, man, we're here. It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. on the dot. We're live here because we got a ton of content to get to. We got a loaded show. We're breaking down both the AFC West and the NFC West. First hour, we got Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers talk. We got some live calling guests. Second hour, we got NFC West people. Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, all that good stuff. Got a couple pre-records I'm going to be playing, as well as some live call-ins. How you feeling?
Pretty good. Disappointed that Denny's I went to didn't have a 2468 menu anymore. But
at least you didn't get served soggy rice from Yoshinoya. So that was pretty bad.
Shout out to Serve using your bus pass to just buy random stuff on a Japanese train.
Yeah, shout out to Serve.
Like all types of stuff. Water bottles, just fuel cords, just all types of stuff.
So with that, man, let's get right into, let's talk about it. First of all, let's make it quick because there are a couple things that have happened in week one
that have been mind-bogglingly ridiculous. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't. Let's talk about it.
First of all, man, the thing that we're not going to talk about throughout the rest of the show
is
that we have to address. No, we're going to talk about that because we have to.
Damn it.
But I was going to say the Zeke deal. The Cowboys made him the highest paid running back. What, 4 years, $90 million, something like that?
$50 million guaranteed. I have no problem with that. I told you, he's top 3 and he's not 2 or 3.
I don't think I have no issue with it either. I just think
anyone who deserves that much money for carrying a team, it's him. Everybody got paid except Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper.
I know. I think you retweeted something about that. Like
I put it on
Dak and Melvin Gordon just watching Jared Goff and Ezekiel Elliott get paid.
It's the Dave Chappelle skit where black people get reparations, and his black lady's like, "Watch out, y'all! It's some poor people around with your broke ass." That's what it's looking. The Chargers finally let Melvin Gordon seek a trade, and Philly tried to get
him. I think the 49ers inquired about him too.
Philly tried to trade Jordan Howard, the free agent they
were like, "No, we don't want that contract.
We don't want."
No, they traded for him.
Yeah, that's actually a fair trade though. Jordan Howard.
I'll take Melvin Gordon over him.
Jordan Howard has the 3rd most rushing yards since entering the league.
But he's already
plateaued. No, he hasn't.
He has.
Bro, he hasn't.
He took a step back last year. Or he took a lateral step last year. They gave
the ball to Tariq Cohen.
Why?
The offense wasn't built for him.
Exactly why.
The offense they built for him. The same way TJ Yeldon got a lot of Leonard Fournette's touches. But Leonard
Fournette was also just going through shit last year. So
yeah, but even when he wasn't hurt,
that whole team was going through shit.
Even when he wasn't hurt, TJ Yeldon was getting touches. That's why he was winning me some fantasy games. And I really took DeAndre Hopkins.
Again, man, nobody cares about your fantasy team. It's touchdown season, not fantasy season.
It is fantasy season. You tripping? Everybody's
sweating.
It's
always fantasy season.
Everybody's sweating for Antonio Brown right now.
But yeah, man, some other stuff that went down since we last had this great podcast on the FBC Radio Network, X Squad affiliates, and everywhere you can find your podcast. Jadeveon Clowney got traded, man.
Talk about a finesse. Like, that whole draft class, those top 5 players, none of them are all on the same team.
The crazy thing is, like, that just makes the whole... Well, first of all, they got Clowney on a discount. They gave up Mingo and a 3rd-round pick.
And the dude is probably not going to make the team, a linebacker. And they essentially gave up a pack of Skittles, some oregano, and a bag of Reggie.
Which
and a half-eaten.
He might actually, meanwhile, might actually be good going back to a stand-up end role.
No, he's
there.
not. He's not.
Not good, but decent, solid.
He's never shown any real promise since.
Yeah, he did. He had that good year in New England.
Are you even counting? You don't mean that. Like, why are you saying things you don't mean?
I don't. I do that a lot. But I think we're gonna talk about that more later. But the other trade that went down, the related trade, adjacent trade, whatever.
The Dolphins just saying fire sale.
I feel bad for Josh Rosen, man.
I feel bad for Kenny Stills.
How can he really land in like the two worst situations back to back?
He's never been given, but it's weird because it's like, well, you grew up in Manhattan Beach and you're super privileged and rich, but I think it's because it goes back to the whole him being labeled a liberal millennial and a Bernie supporter, and it rubs some old white men the wrong way. But all his teammates
dad supported Trump. His dad was a Trump
and he's
booster.
he's like the opposite of that.
Well, his mom was a Hillary booster.
And he's like the opposite of those two.
Yeah, he's like
But he speaks his mind.
And I think one of them is like a doctor and the other one's like an engineer. Like they're both like brilliant people.
So it's like, I can't fault the kid. And if people want to give him crap for his having a hot tub in his hotel room as a freshman at UCLA. I would have done the same thing.
Of course. It's UCLA and you were the freshman starting quarterback.
One of the highest rated quarterbacks to ever go to that university, by the way. One of the highest rated prospects to ever go to UCLA, and they stole him from USC. But I think it's just really gross and disgusting that
we have a team openly tanking again.
No, the Dolphins should have been tanking, but I just think it's disgusting that Laramie Tunsil, had he just fallen one more spot to 14, the Raiders would have taken him and not had Carl Joseph, and we wouldn't be in this
and
mess.
Not get Colton Miller next year,
because Laramie Tunsil was actually an elite talent.
Actually have Colton Miller play right tackle where he belongs and not play Trent Brown.
Nah, he'd be playing money. He'd be playing left guard in a zone scheme. He'd be the perfect left guard. He's athletic,
He's not that physical though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
His pad level is shit too.
How physical you need to be in a zone blocking scheme.
You still have to be physical because you have to pass off double teams.
But how many of those guys hide in zone blocking schemes?
Not a lot. You have to still be physical because
man blocking is much harder than zone blocking.
No, I disagree.
Okay, so
I disagree.
Man blocking Aaron Donald 1-on-1 versus a zone scheme. Which is an easier protection? From one offensive lineman to another. Your right guard having to block him.
A man block because you're getting a double team down block. Yeah, that's way easier. Or if you're pulling, you're catching somebody off guard. Again, easier. You're talking about zone scheme is a lot harder because it's all about timing. You have to pass people off at the perfect amount of time, and these people aren't bags. They're not standing still. They're coming forward. So you're trying to get an angle on them and position them while they're moving forward and trying to keep their angle.
But at least if it's man blocking
zone, you're still blocking man, and it's harder because you're not just trying to blow that person back.
But your scheme is more suited to protect.
You're trying to move that person and position them a certain way. Like a down block, you really only have to move a person a yard.
Bro, you have to drive through somebody on a down block. If you miss that down block, the whole play's dead.
Yeah, you do.
But if a zone scheme, if you miss a block, if you miss a backside block, there's a chance the play's still going to be good. Like a stretch play in a zone scheme and a stretch play versus man blocking, and has some zone elements.
Not if the and or tackle is any good.
Okay, well, we can keep throwing out ifs. But
yeah, this is a tangent.
But I'm saying for a zone scheme, someone who isn't as good as far as individual technique can hide in a zone scheme compared to someone.
Nah, I don't agree with that at all.
I don't know, man.
I think you need more technique because you can.
You need to be smarter.
You can get by on just brute strength and motor in a down block.
But if you miss the block, the whole play's dead.
In a zone, you have to know how to position your hands. You have to know how to position your head. You have to know how to position your feet.
You have to do the same thing.
It's a lot,
bro. And what I'm saying,
what you're saying is you can get blown up in a zone.
I'll give you an example.
And the play won't get blown up. You can get pushed back 2 yards, and
you can have a trash offensive line in a zone blocking scheme and still be a successful offense. You cannot have a trash offensive line man blocking. It's not going to work.
But anyways.
Okay. I'm telling you, I've seen it.
Speaking of trash offensive lines, that's why the Texans got Tunsil. So the real question is, one, are they a contender? And two, is O'Brien going to make it out of this year if he doesn't make it out of the second round?
I don't think
because he's the de facto GM at this point.
Yeah, and that Clowney trade was terrible. That was god awful. Like, all you got was a third for like comp and protection.
That makes the Raiders Mac trade look a lot better. That really drove that.
Don't speak about that Mac trade. I'm still angry.
Which, by the way, that game is so shitty. 7-3 opening night. I get it. NFC North.
I don't watch the NFL.
And I get it. NFC North defensive battles, but really?
Bro.
7-3. Like
the Bears defense. The Bears front seven is a problem for everybody. No, the Bears
7-3.
Bro, Eddie Jackson is a problem. Had he not gotten hurt at Alabama, he would have probably been a high draft pick. So the fact that he got injured and fell all the way down the way he did, and damn near had an all pro season last year, they have a steal on that that defense is legitimate. So Aaron Rodgers is gonna have problems, but he's Aaron Rodgers. So it was a low scoring ebb and flow kind of game last year. But when it comes down to that trade, Martinez Rankin, they got him out of there, but they had him playing out of position the whole time. They had him at left tackle, right tackle, when he should have been a center. That's what he was projected as coming out of Mississippi State. So he's a perfect depth pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, and it goes back to my zone comments. I'm just saying, Eric Fisher, not really a great left tackle. But he can hide in an offense where there's some zone scheme principles. Because man-to-man, we've seen him block cats, and he gets beat a lot. But anyway, Mr. Schwartz is the best tackle on that team.
You're just talking,
I know, I just wanted to say that.
You're just being lazy, bro, because it's
I just want to throw some shade at Eric Fisher.
Comparing a pickup truck and a sports car. It's they're two different.
On the Autobahn, that's different.
They take two different sort of skill sets. Neither one is necessarily more or less challenging. They're just different.
Yeah, but the bottom line is...
That's why you see people struggle so much.
Yeah, not everybody can play in the zone scheme, even if you are athletic. But, so I'll concede that point. But the point is, when you look at that trade, the Texans got better where they needed to get better. They pick up Carlos Hyde, who probably wasn't going to play for the Chiefs anyway. You have Duke Johnson. So it's a running back by committee thing because they lost Lamar Miller with torn ACL. Then you get Kenny Stills. You already had some receivers, but you have Kiki Kute, Kenny Stills, who's a legit deep threat and a good number 2 option. And then you get DeAndre Hopkins, and you already have Tyus Howard, who will look great in the preseason. And then you throw in Laramie Tunsil, who's an elite talent who's only getting better. Most teams, if they could get Laramie Tunsil, they'd be happy with that. If the Patriots had Laramie Tunsil, he might be an All-Pro this year, and he could be a Pro Bowler. He has everything you want. It's just he has to get better. And I think now that he's on an offensive line that is better overall, it's good. So
yeah, man.
But they whiffed horribly trading Jadeveon to Seattle for nothing.
I guess it was better than him sitting out the whole year, but
yeah, there's that.
So yeah, man. So moving to the AFC West. Let's start with the Raiders, man, because obviously they're in the news today, this week, all off season. More AB shit. Mike Mayock
and the HardKnocks.
Essentially, first of all, Antonio Brown got notice that he's going to get fined. Then he added the whole Raiders organization on IG and apparently confronted Mike Mayock and
followed them.
May or may not have been an argument, depending on what sources you read, and may or may not have gotten physical. And
some people say it got racial,
not gotten broken up or not, but whatever.
Yeah,
it happened. So, do the Raiders cut AB or what?
Well, if they do cut him, technically they could get away in the contract. It would just be $30 million of.
Yeah, that's why Drew Rosenhaus' ass is on. Yeah, I'm trying to get this resolved. Yeah, because you're trying to get your check.
You're trying to get paid, bro. And it's it goes back to the Raiders just messed up this entire offseason. They should have just, a guy like Mayock trying to draw a hard line in the sand with a guy like Antonio Brown. It's not going to work. He's like the Joker. He's just uncontrolled